Hello, everybody. Welcome. Rosa Psych Investigator. Hell, huh. Everybody, welcome. Rosa Psych Investigator. So I hope you're having a good Saturday night. Saturday night of non-action. Thank you for watching. I know I've been in the last, I don't know, couple weeks or so, or maybe a little more. I've been posting less. It's so much, the intensity. We talked about it before, right? So I'm feeling better now. Um, Feeling better now. Gucci sweater now. Drop top. Okay, hold on. It's a song. Woo. Okay. Okay. Just quoting a song. Uh, I don't have a Gucci sweater, but just saying. Uh, let's do the protection. I like to ask for protection. A beautiful wave of lights coming on top of my head as I breathe in. I feel my lungs as I breathe out. I create a circle. I create a circle. I step into it. I step into it. I feel protected. I feel connected. I like to ask that information come only from the highest sources. That I create the good and the good, and so it is. So let's ask here questions. So guys, I separated lots of news to discuss today, and I wanted to mention. Made notes. Somebody has 1 second. So the first thing I wanted to discuss today is just as you know, I've been very affected by all this energetically. Everything is heavy, and I've noticed, of course, a lot of your comments have expressed something similar. And I was talking to Karina yesterday, and we did this kind of like reading on each other and such. And I think I saw it for myself, even that in the next 7 to 10 days, and I'm thinking today is the 9th. So let's say that until the 19th, roughly, it would be like this. Sometimes the days feel sort of debilitating, and but not like mentally, not like depressed, but just physically exhausted all the time. But I feel much better now because of the time of the month has begun, right? So it feels better. But basically, the next let's say up to 10 days will be this intense. So and what has been happening, I've been using a lot of crystals, just kind of relaxing, sleeping a lot more than usual, because it's this time is taxing on many of us, right? And what I understood really is just to clear even things, just use um energetic means to clear, because it's a time that, although it feels very frustrating because things feel slow, it's the time to clear everything that doesn't belong in our bodies, in our auras, in our souls, however you call it, because we're moving on to this new era. I feel that. Okay, so that's just the beginning here. uh, and I think it's quite interesting. Okay. All right. So then the next thing I want to talk about very quickly. Okay, astrology. So I was listening to the video that Cosmic Owl Astrology, Louise and Kathy Beal had put out. I think it was yesterday, and there was a passage that I found fascinating where, okay, they talked about, it was really a kind of like a sentence or two, um, where they said that Kamala Harris is, I'm going to right here, then I'll share with you. So it's some, as you know, I know nothing about astrology, right? That's why I listen to astrologers, because I don't know anything. They do know, right? And so there's something about Peter Thiel's chart, Kamala Harris's chart, where she takes him down. So I thought it was very interesting, very interesting. So let me share with you, okay? Because it is, I want you to hear this. It's really fascinating, and then I'm going to ask about it as well, okay? So All right, so let's do it. So I paused here at 56:13. So let me just press play.
Would you? Yes, but
okay, 1 second. I want to make sure that's all right. 1 second. Share sound optimized for video share. Okay. Okay.
27 Libra, 27 Aries. Does that ring a bell? It's Kamala's sun and moon. Her sun is at 27 Libra on his south node, and her Aries is at 27. She's karmically poised to go after him.
She is. I have noticed that.
We're just pointing it out to everyone.
Oh, no, I know. Yeah, I thought I'd leave that one for you because I was this one's so much fun.
Okay, so that was really it's a of course, as always, very interesting video. But I just thought it was interesting. I just thought like, wow, how interesting, no? How interesting. So I want to know. I want to know what you're thinking. Tell me what's on your mind. By the way, so I think somebody one time, I'm behind on my emails as usual, but someone said that I think, oh, this song, it's funny. I was never particularly a fan of this group. I was really a child when they were popular, but I just remember it's like one of those songs that is in the background or was in the background when I was little. So, okay. But let's go here. So I want to know this. I want to know. No, really, I do want to know. So, of course, I paraphrased and maybe I don't think I took it out of context, but this is something that Kathy said, right? That she said something like she's karmically poised to go after him. I take him down with my words. So I don't want for it. No, I don't want it. So let's see what's happening. Tell me about it. What's going on? Is it true that Kamala? Is it true? How does Kamala see Peter Thiel today? What will she do in the future about Peter Thiel? So it's interesting. It shows me her going back, way back when she was the Attorney General for California. She was San Francisco's DA, and she raised money from people close to Peter Thiel. Some of the PayPal mafia people, like Reid Hoffman, are her big donors of hers. So she knows obviously who Peter Thiel is, and it shows me that he was sort of like in the background. She knew of him and such. She saw him, the rise of Peter Thiel and such. And as a vice president, she got briefings, intelligence briefings about his connections and some sort of financial transaction, or there was something where they were looking into because his companies have federal contracts. And there were people who said, oh, no, let's not look into it. Let's not do anything about it. But now that all of this has come to pass, she knows that he is a mastermind of a lot of this. And she knows exactly how and she sees exactly how to remove those people from federal contracts, because obviously they don't have they're working against the American people. That's obvious, right? And they have a lot of foreign connections, and she knows, and I see that she has these financial documents related to him and parties. I wonder, I was thinking too, guys, how Peter Thiel had invested money with Jeffrey Epstein. And Peter Thiel is known for this. He has many different investment companies, some of them with different theses, because different thesis, investment thesis than the others, because he's very much into what's called game theory. So I think he manipulates markets in some ways. And so there's a lot of different things going on. But I guess my question is, let me see if we can refine this here. Is she, how, in what capacity will Kamala Harris do something about Peter Thiel, and what exactly will she do? And I see an interview with her. Well, we are creating a task force, and I'm hiring today a special counsel to look into the financial relationships of companies that have federal contracts and immediately halt these contracts until we get to the bottom of this, because the American people cannot afford to have to pay for this, because it comes from the American taxpayers, right? To have the American taxpayer money fund companies of persons who are working against the interests of the very American people, right? So she does this, and I see that sometimes people say, well, what is she doing? What's going on? She's already planning these things now, I think. Okay. So that's what I think. Now, because she's a prosecutor by training, she has all of this kind of mapped out. And she knows, when she said the other day, the system is broken, she knows kind of like how to, I see that she's going to strengthen the judiciary a lot. So that's how I see. And I see Peter Thiel being very shocked and surprised at how far she went. But the weird thing about him is that he almost knows that this is not going to last forever. And you know how these people are obsessed with these like end of the world scenarios, right? So they know, or like they know that they're causing havoc on purpose. You don't have to be a psychic, right, to see that what they're doing is completely about destroying American prosperity and the American economy, right? That's the only real reasoning behind all of this. So, okay, just 1 second. Okay, so that was a voice here thing I turned off, so came back. Anyway, so that's what I see. I find it interesting. Okay. All right. So anyway, that was just this sort of an unexpected topic of tonight. But let's go to the other things that are on. So I don't know if it was yesterday or even today that it turns out that that meeting that Trump was talking about with Putin is I don't know if it's scheduled, but it's supposed to happen in Alaska, and it's such. You can imagine that devil coming into American territory. So they have a lot to show you, a lot of different little tidbits about this news. But the first thing I want to know here is whether it's actually going to happen, because, and I'll tell you just a summary. So far, that thing, Witkoff, the man is it's completely owned by Putin. He's the chief negotiator. He does everything away from, everything is unofficial. It's official, but outside of protocol, right? So he does deals with, God knows what the Russians listening on him, what they do to him. And then he said, oh, we're going to go meet with, they want peace, they want this. And then the 3 times, 3 big mistakes he has already made. But we know that because that's who he is, a disaster. But let me look the first thing. Is this meeting actually going to happen? Is the meeting going to happen? I remember that first they were going to have some sort of meeting in Turkey, I think it was. And he said, oh, what about Alaska? And I see Putin ripping up some piece of paper in front of Trump, but is he really? Does it go to Alaska? I think there's a strong possibility that it could be canceled. Okay. Because the first thing I see that it's a game of Putin's, right? To play because unfortunately he does own Trashellini, right? So he's doing that because and I'm going to talk about it. Don't be alarmed, but let me show you this. It is sickening. I warn you. And obviously I don't speak Russian, but there are okay, 1 second. Okay, let me share this with you. So it's so there's pictures of billboards in Russia say Alaska is ours. I don't speak Russian, but I trust that they're talking. They know what they're talking about. But billboards reading Alaska is ours were spotted in Russia after a top government official claimed that Russia could reclaim this state above an undated file. Okay, Russian flag. So here it is, Alaska. But this is from 2022. So this was there all along. A spokesperson for a Krasnoyarsk company called Name Alaska, which reportedly manufactures trailers, soon claimed responsibility for the billboards and comments. The spokesperson explained the company's director is very patriotic and had decided to show that we are for patriotism by placing the billboards around the city. Okay. On Wednesday, Volodin and another top Russian official reportedly warned that sanctions imposed on Russia by the US and other Western countries over the Ukraine war could lead to direct military conflicts, including a potential invasion of Alaska. I'm laughing, but it's not funny, okay? So in light of, imagine like just the concept of this. They're doing this, and then, of course, it was Putin's idea, right, to have this meeting in Alaska. And Trump says yes because he's a weak piece of excrement. Okay. And it's interesting, right, that that randos, the MAGA people think he's strong. He's the weakest president we have ever had. He works for foreign countries, right? And that's the ridiculous situation. So, and it's funny, guys, you know, lately, it's interesting. I'm going to change it as usual in my ADD, changing the subject a little, and that anecdote, because I already see what is the general of during the World War II, the General Patton. It looks to me like Eisenhower. Eisenhower, is that right? That son of a gun. I see it looks like, let me see Eisenhower's photo because, okay, I think that's him. That's right, that's him. Son of a gun. Take that damn son of a gun out of there. He's so furious. Damn it. But he's saying that son of a gun. And I see that he's mad, but then he laughs. He's sort of, so what do you have to say, Mr. Eisenhower? President Eisenhower. Hey, do the tapping, girl. Do the tapping. I know you're smarter than that, but you can type, can't you? Okay, so, okay. So he's saying, son of a gun, that he's going to be humiliated. He's going to be humiliated in front of the whole world. We're going to laugh at that mofo. You know, we're going to laugh at him. So he's saying that it is infuriating, but all of this is evidence that he works. It will all come out when the evidence is out there about who he really works for. And he will be alive to see his treason exposed to the whole world. And he will say, fake news, all of that. But this is where we have arrived. The bigotry that a lot of America has carried all these years. The bigotry has fed this monster. And he's not necessarily talking about just Trump, but this whole situation where the foreign power has learned how to manipulate us through this. So essentially, Russia has used the so-called Southern strategy, right? And wow, okay. So Mr. Eisenhower, is this going to? I see that it's interesting when I see him, and then he's showing me this image of this meeting, but it's faded away, meaning almost as if we're looking at it from the past. I have a feeling it may not actually happen. This is what Putin wants, and he has demonstrated his power over Trump by picking this location and having all of those people in Russia essentially do the psyops like that. But he's sort of like this. He's fading into the background. He's saying, it's hard to believe, but okay, just say, girl, just say. By the time the meeting is scheduled to happen, Trump is no longer the picture. I don't know. Is that right? It just seems like a far away thing. It's a fantasy, Rosie. I don't see it happening somehow. Okay. But at the same time, as you guys know, I've always thought that eventually it's because of his allegiance to Russia that he goes to the military and he wants the military to work for Russia. And that's when everything all falls apart, which is what we want. So Rosie, just report as you see it. The downfall is written in the books, he's saying. So, wow. Okay, so let me show you now. Let's go to Mr. Eisenhower. Okay, Rosie, go show the news. I'm here if you want to talk about. I'll be here. I'll be whispering in your ears. Okay. All right. So let's go. Let's go. I'm gonna go grab some news here. I made a list. I organize. It's funny. I have a ADD, but I organize. All right. So. Now look at this situation. It's kind of crazy, right? When you think about it. This is actually, oh my God, it's so annoying when this happens. There's this whole dark thing here in front. Okay, hold on. What is this? Why no? It's some more. Okay, so the U.S. envoy grossly incompetent and his confusion is causing diplomatic crises. On the call, so they're talking about Witkoff, right? On the call, Trump suggested that Russia would be ready to withdraw from the southern region of Zaporizhia and Kherson in exchange for full control of Donetsk. However, Witkoff walked back that claim the next day in a call with the chief aides of European leaders, suggesting that Russia would both withdraw and freeze the front line. On Friday, European officials demanded a third call with Witkoff to clarify the growing confusion about what Putin actually proposed. In that call, Witkoff clearly stated that the only offer on the table was for Ukraine to withdraw unilaterally from Donetsk in exchange for a ceasefire. So, of course, as usual, this whole situation is ridiculous for several reasons, right? Because one, they pretend like they pretend that Ukraine doesn't exist, and they let Putin dictate everything. So the situation is ridiculous, right? And then we have the situation where, so then Europeans then interview after this situation. They came together and proposed a different plan because basically representing Ukraine and Zelensky. And Zelensky's like, no, I'm not going to give away the land. It's the same, it's always the same BS, right? So let's look here. 1 second. Okay. Right. Okay. I'll share with you. Laura Rosen, she used to be a diplomat, I remember. The European plan, which was presented to VP Vance, Marco Rubio, Kellogg and Wickoff, also stipulates that any territorial concession by Kyiv must be safeguarded by ironclad security guarantees, including NATO membership. Okay, let's see. The plan shocked Zelensky, who hasn't been invited to Alaska, and European leaders. He described it following Saturday's conversation with UK PM Starmer as a plan to reduce everything to discussing the impossible, and said that Ukraine wouldn't give its land to anyone. Any agreement Trump and Putin reached in Alaska wouldn't be worth much without the participation of European leaders, another senior Euro official said. In their meeting with Vance, European officials reiterated that the future of Ukraine can't be discussed without Ukraine. Goes without saying, right? Okay, so basically, right? Okay. So, okay. And then I see, it's funny, Eisenhower's here. That's why, Rosie, it's not going to happen, because it's a sham. And Putin knows that he's not a negotiator. Russia never negotiates anything. And if they do, they violate whatever agreements they sign. It's a zero-sum game for them in everything, right? And so whatever, if it were to happen, whatever happens there is not serious. And Putin was doing this, essentially shows me, to just troll Trump. Okay. So this is, and I see that Putin is really pushing Trump with the compromise situation. And he's like, girl, I have informations. I have your pictures here. Okay, so, all right, interesting. So let's go to next. Is that right, guys? It's so much, but that's why, Rosie. And it's interesting. Eisenhower is showing me Trump falling apart. The good old Mother Terry gonna get him, Rosie. So we'll see. So what do you see? He's showing as the nations goes back to school, and it's like September gets closer. He's showing that everything is falling apart. This is not a non-functioning government that's only concerned about propaganda. And it's so weird. So weird. Okay. Let me write it down for you. Of the lady from the Department of Christina. What? Guys, okay, this is Mr. Eisenhower. This is too much. Mr. Eisenhower, I don't want, okay, don't show me these things over here. So, okay, this sounds like insanity. No, it's real, Rosie. You can tell them about it. Okay, so I'm seeing this image. It's really very, it's an image of Christina. Remember that guy that she dates? Corey Lewandowski, remember him? They're together, right? So it's a film, private film of them together. Putin has them. the damn films. He's gonna show them on television over there in Russia. He's gonna put everybody there over there. He's got cameras everywhere. They're so stupid to believe in that man and to work for them. There's goddamn mobsters, those people. So, but he seems, it's interesting. He's describing the way that Eisenhower is describing things to me. It's almost like as if you're sitting on the porch with somebody and they're telling you a story about the past. It feels very much as if he's telling me a story about something that happened in the past. In other words, it's like, it's not, no, Rosie, it's not going to last. This is as fake as it gets. And they created, as he's saying, they created a lot of pain for a lot of people. But this too shall pass. It's not going to last. And yet it has to come out because this is how we address what needs to be changed. Okay, so thank you, Mr. President. Whenever. Anytime, Rosie. Anytime for you. Okay, so wow. Oh, and he's telling me, Eisenhower was telling me, Rosie, you know how cemented the rose garden? It was Putin who told him, hey, I don't like that garden. He said to him, I don't like the garden. And then he did it because, Russians hated the Kennedys because the Kennedys were pretty people. They were beautiful people. So it's the middle finger to Jackie Kennedy. Wow, Jackie Kennedy. Mr. Eisenhower, you didn't have to use such words. They will burn in hell. They indeed will burn in hell. Mr. Eisenhower. Okay, so, now Jackie Kennedy's here. Let's just say hello, Jackie Kennedy. Rosa, they're doing this as a means to destroy the American spirit. But you know what's going to happen, Rosie, once he's gone? We are going to remove these horrific cement blocks he has placed upon the garden, and we will rebuild the garden. That's all that's going to happen. The stench of vulgarity that the orange man is, he will not last, Rosie. I understand the nightmares are real. The nightmares are daily. So many are suffering energetically and such. But they will never be able to completely erase us. We shall overcome and we shall rebuild. That is everything you have to remember and everything you have to think about. Okay? So that's interesting. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, President Eisenhower. All right, let's go to the next. Let's see. I know I have actually, let's see here, separate a lot of things to talk about. But you know what, guys, I'm gonna do it. I know I keep saying this, but I'm gonna do it tomorrow. Okay, I don't want to make it too long because he fired the IRS chief. There's a few other interesting things that have come up, but it is a little late. I'm gonna try to do it earlier. Okay, the video. And also, I went back today to get my computer, and the man, I told you there's a man who next to me, he was there too. And it's just, I can't do anything like a video there. And during the weekend, there's no air conditioning. Like they turn off the high air conditioning, so I can't really work from there. So I'm just going to have to figure it out. I'm just going to keep making videos here, I think. If it's earlier, it's better, right? So, but I still do go to the office. I think there's other types of work I can do there, and during the day especially. It is very good for me to go to the office. It feels good, but we'll see. Okay, just at least the weekends I'm going to be here. All right. Okay. So I'm going to say goodbye for today, and I'll see you tomorrow. Okay. Bye bye. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.